Kalimera, good morning. This is Molendinarius here from Latinum, and we're looking at the word and how this is rendered into Latin or not, as the case may be. So, and, the same as the Greek ke, joins words and notions, each of which is considered independently and as of equal importance. Atque and ac add what is of somewhat more importance. Ac is not used in front of vowels or h, and very seldom is used in front of the letter G. Que joins a word closely to another as an appendage to it. And at the beginning of indignant questions is et quisquam dubitabit, and so on. And, however, is often untranslated in the Latin where it's needed in the English, when it unites single ideas of the following kind in certain combinations of frequent occurrence. For example, horse and man, equi viri, men and women, viri mulieres, and so ventis remis, and so on and so forth. Before the last term of an enumeration, when the preceding terms are not connected by and, our country was preserved by my labours, counsels, and dangers, is how we'd say it in English. Patria laboribus consiliis periculis meis servata est, the same construction used in the Latin. There were present, Greeks, Romans, and others. Aderant Graeci, Romani, alii, and here the Roman idiom doesn't have the and. The particle and is, however, inserted before the last term of an enumeration, it being left out before the others, when that expresses the whole class to which the preceding terms belong. Between the names of consuls, it is sometimes omitted. When and connects entire sentences, in English, we often connect by and sentences that relate to different times, or the latter of which is a consequence of the former, or describes a subsequent action of a person mentioned in the former. In Latin, sentences like this are either connected by the relative qui. For example, a messenger came and announced, we'd say in English, venit nuntius qui nuntiabat. So we have to think about this completely differently in Latin. Or the subordinate sentence is turned into a participial, one of those tongue-twisting words for me, participial clause. He came forward and spoke thus. In medium prodiens, haec locutus est. He left the city and retired to his country house. Urbe relicta, in villam se recepit. Causal particles are used when statements stand to each other in the relation of cause and effect, occasion and consequent action. For example, Xanthippus was sent to aid the Carthaginians and defended himself bravely. substantivus, cum Carthaginiensibus auxilio missus esset, fortiter se defendit. I saw him and immediately recognized him. Post quam eum aspexi, illico cognoi. And so, and accordingly, itaque, sometimes just que. This intimates the rapid succession of the second following event. And also et quoque. For example, et sarmenta quoque in merce sunt. Nec non, to connect sentences, they should stand separately. They are not used in the best prose to connect two nouns like a simple et. If two adjectives or other attributives are spoken of one noun and also, in the English, is translated into Latin by idemque or et idem. Musicus idemque philosophus. And yet is rendered by et tamen or atqui at the beginning of a sentence. And that et is or isque. If and that relates to a verb or a whole sentence, idque should be used. Negotium magnum est navigare. Idque mense quintili. And not nec or neque. Et non. Ac non. Nec or neque, when the negative refers to the whole of the second sentence. Et non or ac non, when it belongs more particularly to a single word or notion in it, and when the and is very emphatic. Ac non, especially when the notion in the second clause corrects or is opposed to a notion in the first. For example, we must use reason and not follow the distorted rule of custom. Adhibend est ratio. Nec utendum pravissima consuetudinis regula. It would be tedious and not necessary to relate. Longum est, et non necessarium commemorare. I would write to you at greater length if the thing needed words and did not speak for itself. Pluribus verbis ad te scriberem, si res verba desideraret, ac non pro se ipsa loqueretur. Note, in such a sentence as it is A and not B, it would be quite wrong to express the and in Latin. For example, tua culpa factumst non mea, and you do not say tua culpa factum est et non mea. That is not good Latin. And not rather, ac non or ac non potius. And nobody, and nothing, and never. Nec quisquam, nec quidquam, nec umquam. If the negative belongs to the whole sentence, et nemo, et nihil, et nunquam. When the negative belongs to the single word. In sentences of parallel construction, for example, A does this and B does that, etc., the and should be translated by autem, which is a weak adversative participle. Voluptates impellere quo velit, undautem velit deducere. And the last bit, versutos eos appello, quorum mens celeriter versatur, callidos autem, quorum mens usu collocavit. So that's the entry under and. This is from Riddle and Arnold's copious and critical English to Latin dictionary. It's a dictionary that I highly recommend if your Latin is not completely beginner level, but I'd say upper level beginner or intermediate and advanced. It's an extremely useful and good dictionary to expand your knowledge of the Latin language. The dictionary has some drawbacks, as I will endlessly point out. It was written in the end of the 1700s, published in the early 1800s, and so the style of the English is old, and so it does help if you read lots of Jane Austen and so on. That'll get you into the right frame of mind for using this dictionary. And also you need to think sometimes about what words used to mean in English. The Latin, of course, speaks for itself, but sometimes the English requires a bit of thought because the usage of English has changed since the time this dictionary was written. But it's extremely good. What I like about it, because it's English to Latin, it sort of branches out like a tree. So you don't have a direct translation of a word, but you have a whole family of expressions that relate to a word under each entry. And so this is very good for developing your Latin skill, your armory. And it's a wonderful dictionary in and of itself. It's a readable dictionary, and very few dictionaries are eminently readable. So that's it from me, from Latinum. You can find me at Patreon, if you wish, Latinum. And there's lots of audio material there for you to download. I've been doing this for quite some years now, so there's quite a large audio catalogue accessible at Patreon for those who subscribe. Bye.